Welcome to Sales Tax and More, your go-to resource for all things state tax related. Now here's your host, Michael Fleming.
Hi, Mike Fleming here, founder of Sales Tax and More, and today's co-host of the Sales Tax and More podcast, where we talk about everyone's favorite topic, which is, of course, sales tax. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of a public service announcement. There's a scam going out there. It's referred to as the Distraint warrant scam. And we're going to go through that and answer some questions that Ellie's got for me. But before we do that, let me introduce you to Ellie, who's my co-host, Ellie Moffett.
Hi, everyone. Really great to be here as always. And I'm just going to do a quick introduction for Sales Tax and More. Sales Tax and More, we are a full service consulting and solutions firm. And we have a really phenomenal team here of experienced tax professionals who are very dedicated to fulfilling your state tax and related needs. So we do a lot of sales tax returns, sales tax registrations, consultations, research, and like our name states, more. So please reach out to us if you'd like to work with us. If you have any questions about our services, we'd love to hear from you. So Mike, what is a distraint notice?
Well, before we get into this, I want to remind everyone I am not an attorney. So this is just general knowledge. It's not meant to be legal advice or anything else. A distraint notice, by the way, it's spelled Distraint, pronounced distraint, spelled a little bit differently, but it basically serves the same purpose as a court judgment.
Okay. And what are things that people should be looking out for when they are potentially receiving a distraint notice? How do they tell if it's a scam? What are people on the lookout for?
Well, have you ever been contacted by a state before? I think that's one of the most important things, because states would not generally just go to a lien or a warrant or a judgment. They're going to contact you. You're going to know that you got a problem or an issue. So if it's coming out of the blue, that's the first warning sign. Another warning sign is, these are hard to spot. You've really got to thoroughly inspect the letter you got, because they look legit. I mean, they're a little bit scary. So keep calm and go through it, in a detailed manner. And some things may start to pop out at you. Number one, neither the IRS nor the states use the term distraint. So if it says this is the type of lien is distraint notice, that's generally a red flag right there. And so far, all of these notices I have seen say distraint. So, and Ellie's going to put out some examples also. But since that's not a term that's generally used, sounds confusing, sounds legal. If you looked it up online, you would see that it has the same force as a court judgment, but it's not actually used. So that's the first one. The second one is there's a telephone number included on these notices, but generally not an address. So states are generally going to put their address in there, a mailing address or a physical address where you can mail them something. So if it's just a telephone number, red flag. And a third red flag is, or fourth red flag, whatever number we're up to right now. I can't count. I'm an accountant. Numbers don't matter. They don't identify what type of tax it is. So generally, if a state is coming after you or the IRS is coming after you, they're letting you know what the problem is. And this just says you got a tax problem. It doesn't identify the specific type of tax. So those are some of the ways that you can review if something is a scam. But one of the first ones is, keep calm. Things pop out at you when you're calm. It's when you're in a hurry, when you're all worried and in a panic that everything looks legitimate. But when you slow down, sometimes you can start to say, okay, this is someone trying to scam me. And knowing your situation, knowing if you have a potential problem. Most of the time, our clients that have received these, have been perfect taxpayers. They're not aware of a problem out there. So they're scratching their head and saying, why am I getting this? So that's one of the first things. Be aware of your circumstances. And those are
Yeah.
what I have to look out for.
Yeah, and I'll put in the show notes for this episode. You'll find them on our website. It's just the general show notes wherever you're listening to this podcast at, of links to some of the states have actually put out in caution of these kind of scams as well. So you can see state information too. So Mike, can you review just a really general process when dealing with any notice to determine if it's a scam? And I know you were talking about things to look out for, but let's help people with their general process here as well.
Well, one of the things we've done here is we call the number on the to get more information. We want to find out what they're saying. So the more you question them, rather than just go along, don't let them bully you. You can say, ask for a name. Hey, can I get your name? I want to call the state directly and find you through the state. And usually they'll hang up on you. They've hung up on us. We've called multiple times. They don't want you calling the state. They may argue with you why you can't call the state directly, but why in the world would you not be able to call the state? So asking for their name, a lot of times they won't give you a name or they'll make up a name. It's hard to know if someone's making up a name, but ask if, the biggest way that we have ruffled their feathers, that we've flustered them, is tell them we're going to call the state right now. And how do I get the state to direct me to you? And if it's legit, then they should be able to tell you that. If it's not legit, then they're going to go away. Now, another thing to do is call the state and say, hey, I just got one of these notices saying that I've got a distraint notice, and are there any judgments against me, any liens against me? Inquire with the state. I don't appear I haven't received any communications as to being behind on any of my taxes. So could you let me know what this is about? So check with the state. You never, ever, ever want to pay anybody or send money to anybody without making sure that it's true. And even if it's true, states are not always right. I know this may come as a shock to many of you out there, but states get it a lot of times. And sometimes you just need to provide the documentation showing that, hey, this was paid and it was paid on time. And then all of this would go away if it was real. So always call the state and figure out what something is, and then figure out how to go from there. And if you're really worried about this, call the number and ask them how to, that you heard there's a lot of scams out there and you want to call them directly through the state to make sure that they are not a scam. And generally they're going to go away at that point. So there are certain states, I know that Maryland has put a notice out there. I know that Hawaii has put a notice out there, and Ellie will post those notices so that you can take a look at them, where it talks about these issues. So the states are, or some of the states are aware of these issues. How do they find out who to contact? Well, I don't know. There's a lot of ways. A lot of states, who's registered for sales tax is a public information. So a lot of states actually sell information that really gets me, but people can buy your information directly from the states. So that's how they can find you. But just make sure you don't send any money, you don't give out any social security information. Sometimes they'll say, well, we just want to make sure this is you. Can you give us your social security number? You know, they're just fishing for information. Before you actually know who someone is, never give out any information, never send them any money, always question. So that's one of the ways to protect yourself. I'm a little bit of a skeptic on everything. I believe it's not real until I figure out it is real, but that's just me. Keeps me out of some trouble. Gets me into some trouble every once in a while. So, but most of the time it keeps me out of trouble. And Ellie, that's you know, don't have a whole lot of information on here. Just want to alert people that there is a lot of scams going on, and they just need to be aware of it. And if they get this, don't panic.
Yeah, short and sweet today. And like Mike said, we just really wanted to let everyone know. So, if you have sales tax needs, though, we do offer many solutions and services. We have a lot of free resources on our website as well. So you can reach out directly to me if you have any questions. My email is emoffat, EMOFFAT, at salestaxandmore.com. Our website is salestaxandmore.com. And we hope you continue to listen. Please like and subscribe our podcast if you've enjoyed what you've heard today.
Thanks, everyone. Hope to see you on the next episode of the Sales Tax and More podcast. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe and check out all the resources we have out on the web.